Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Introspective Diaries. I am Nana Hassia, and if you're new here, this channel is all about personal development, introspection, faith, and everything in between. So, this video is titled Thieves Don't Go into Empty Houses and Why You've Been Targeted for Most of Your Life or all your life. So, I would like to share my story about how I've gotten to a point where I've been able to have a lot of inner work breakthroughs regarding my self esteem, how I've been able to build a self esteem that's not based on anything external, but it's based on who God says I am. It's based on my intrinsic qualities and who I know myself to be. So, growing up, I had a lot of experiences where people often targeted me and people often would pick on me, or I guess would bully me. That would be the right term. And experiencing a lot of this in my early adolescent years was something that really messed with my self perception and self esteem. So at schools, people would either speak about me or would pick on me, or they would try to recruit other people to not like me whenever they felt threatened. And I felt like when I was a teenager, this made me feel like an oddball. I felt like an alien. I felt like I didn't belong here because people made me feel like I was less than or that they were superior to me in some way. There are a couple of experiences that I'm thinking of where people um would point out things about my physical appearances, or people would talk about my character, or people would try to make themselves feel superior to me even when I was literally just existing. And for me, this was quite confusing because these were not people that I was friends with. Some of them were the people I was friends with, but when it came to the people that I wasn't friends with, I just felt like, damn, like, why is it that my literal existence is just triggering people? It's just triggering something out of people um that makes them want to dislike me or do something to harm me. And I've also experienced this in friendships where, regardless of like the friendship group that I was in, I felt like I never truly fit in. And there would always come a time where people within those groups would end up not liking me, or they would end up trying to um they would end up trying to find a way to sabotage me. And an experience I can think about was when I was friends with this particular girl, and I didn't really know that she didn't like me. But I remember, like, just one day I was speaking to two other people, and she was in front of me, and then I look at her, and she was giving me like the dirtiest look ever. She was just looking at me up and down, and then I realized that, like, yeah, you don't like me. Like, you're not really my friend. And this was an experience that I've had throughout my life. And um there were times where, because I did well in school, people would try to tear down my photos in the school corridors, or people would just try to make themselves feel superior to me, even when I wasn't thinking about them, even when they weren't people who I spoke to on a regular basis. I've had friends from the past go to great lengths and extents to sabotage me, to hurt me physically, spiritually. And these are some people who I thought that were also like on an inner work journey, like it gets to a certain point where, okay, you go to school, you're making mistakes, but you leave, and then you're like, okay, I there's parts of me I want to improve, there's parts of me that I want to enhance. And you think that other people want to do the same thing, right? You think that other people are also genuinely on this journey, but then they'll do something to you, or something will be revealed to you, because I always say that whatever is done in the dark will be exposed in the light. Okay, and this always happens. So there's people who have gone to great lengths to harm me spiritually, physically, mentally, and a lot of that really messes my self-esteem. Okay, and it's because, like I said, I never really fit in any box, and I don't fit in any box till this day, right? And that confuses people as to why maybe in school I'm able to not only like get along with people really easily, but also do well, and also have people who were attracted to me at the same time. Like, a lot of the times, sorry, I thought there was a spider on my wall. A lot of the times I felt like there was something intrinsically wrong with me, and because of that, I was so disconnected from my body. I was so disconnected from who I am as a person and my own essence, because I felt like I always had to maintain an image in order to not be noticed. Like I didn't want to be noticed. I didn't want to be seen, because I felt like when I was seen, then people would react to me in a negative way. People would throw jabs at me. People would blame me for how they felt. People would make comments about me, or think that I was arrogant or that I was wanting to be superior to them. So I always wanted to kind of just like blend into the background, to blend into the atmosphere and not really be seen that much. However, I'm here to say that if you've felt like this, whether you know you're a male or you're a female, you're a boy or girl, man, woman, whatever, I'm here to say that there is nothing wrong with you and there's never been anything wrong with you. And what's really just going on is a lot of people feel you before they understand you. A lot of people can feel your light before even you know that there's a light within you. And for me, that's what confused me a lot of my life, because I just felt like I am not even doing anything. Like I'm literally just existing. I'm literally just, trying to go about my own business. I'm not talking to you. You don't have to talk to me. But that still like was never enough. Like I never slipped under the radar wherever I went. And that's something that aggravated a lot of people. Even if I wanted to, like, I could say one thing, like in class. I remember I love English literature. And in my English literature class, there were times where it would just seem like it was just me and the teacher having a conversation and everyone blended into the background, because I knew what I was talking about. Like, I knew that, yeah, this is me. Like, I love what I'm learning. And that rubbed people the wrong way. That's something that like people would always come up to me and be like, how do you know this? How do you know that? And like I said, people feel your light before they even understand you as a being, and they'll never understand who you are as a being, but they're just triggered by you. And if that sounds like you, I'm here to say that you're here to be felt and seen, okay? And I'm not saying this in a way that is trying to appeal to your ego. I'm not trying to appeal to your ego. I'm trying to appeal to what I believe is the truth, that you are here to be seen and heard because there is something valuable within you, okay? And that's something that I had to reckon with, because when I was a child, I didn't really start speaking until I was around the age of 3 or 4 years old. Um I have faint memories of that, but my dad always tells me that, like, your speech development was actually very, very slow. And I had a very rich interior world. Yes, I am neurodivergent, if you're now putting the pieces together. Um, I had a very rich interior world, and I was always observing things around me, but I never spoke too much. I always felt, I always saw, but I never spoke too much. I was never talkative, like even when I was around people that I was comfortable with, like my family. Um and because of that, like I was just so confused as to why people would react to me in such like negative ways sometimes, because I'm just like, I'm not even speaking, you know? So like I said, you're here to be felt and seen. And when people feel you and they feel your energy and your essence, they can feel that there is something different. They can feel that there is something a little bit unique. There is something that makes you stand out in some way, shape, or form, but they don't know what it is yet. Okay. But that still triggers them, because it makes them feel like, well, if everybody else can feel what I'm feeling, then like I'm gonna lose whatever sense of validation that other people are giving me, or they're probably thinking that, oh, she thinks she's all that, she thinks she's this and that. And that's never really the case, okay? Because you probably feel like you're not good enough. You probably feel like there is something wrong with you, and you're probably like out of touch with yourself. And that's how I felt for a lot of my life. I was so out of touch with my essence, like from a young age. A lot of things that I felt were beautiful, like I've always been drawn to simplicity. I've always been drawn to quiet and to kind of things that might be seen as eccentric. But I was also told that that was wrong, that I have to be extravagant, that I have to, do this and do that. I was just always just drawn to simple but elegant, timeless things. and I just didn't have a taste for the, how do I say, like for the just like in your face kind of thing, you know? And I was told that there was that, there was something wrong with that. I was told that I had to be something else. At the school that I went to, a lot of the girls that who wanted to befriend me would tell me things like, "Oh, you're so whitewashed." Like being a black girl as well, and not fitting into people's ideas and perceptions of what you should be, how you should dress, how you should speak, and what your interests should be is something that triggers a lot of people, and I don't know why. Like that's something that's been used against me a lot. That you probably think you're better, you probably think you're this, and that's never the case. You're just naturally drawn to different things, and you don't even judge other people for the kind of things that they're into. You're just like, let me just do my own thing and you can do your own thing. But that just seems to trigger things in people. It seems to kind of get people worked up about you. And like I said, it's because people can feel your light before they even comprehend you. And what the danger is here is that when you don't know who you are, and when I say when you don't know who you are, like I'm not saying you should like have an ego or have a big ego, right? Because I'm seeing like a lot of content on YouTube, on social media, kind of that are kind of appealing to people's egos. Like, you're that girl, like, you're this, you should be mean, you should be arrogant. And that's not what I'm promoting. That's not what I want to promote. I want to promote genuine love of who you are and your essence. I want you to own your energy, and I want you to be comfortable within your energy. If you felt out of touch with your body, if you felt out of touch with your essence, this is a call for you to come back to who you are, to really discover who you are, and to be in touch with your own energy. Because like I said, it's not about ego. Like you have to know who you are, because a lot of these attacks, a lot of these things that happen in your life will seem like so arbitrary, or it will seem so like um you would probably start thinking like, what's wrong with me, what's going on here. But the thing is, people see who you are, people feel who you are before even you know who you are. And if you're someone like you're at a time in your life where you're not even happy with yourself, like you think you can be a better person, you think you can um be like a better individual, like you can aspire for more, you can do more, or even if you're not like happy with just you, even then your light is still there. Okay, and this isn't a call for you to be stagnant. I want you to become better, I want you to be the best you can. But what I'm saying is, even when you don't see your light, other people do see it and they feel it. And it's why, like, a lot of people just don't get as to why they're triggered by you, because it's like they're unable to kind of process what they're feeling, they're unable to process what they're seeing as well. And this still happens to me this day. Okay, like this isn't something that is just like one and done. It's something that still happens. But I choose not to engage with certain people. I choose not to engage with certain ideas and energies. And I also am very quick to cut people out of my life. Like I don't have many friends. I have like three friends, and I'm happy with that. Like I'm not someone who, I'm not an extrovert. I don't like being around too many people. I think my energy is very valuable. So I'm very cautious about the places that I go and to the people that I speak with. Um but like I was saying, you have to know who you are, and you have to act accordingly to that. Okay, you have to kind of know that w- that you're here to be felt, and the reason why you're here to be felt is because, contrary to what we're taught in society, change doesn't just come from like top down, right? Change doesn't just come from the big people at the top or whatever making the changes, or it doesn't just come from like when you read a book or when you listen to a podcast, or like kind of, it's not necessarily always intentional. Like the things that spark change aren't always very intentional. But through feeling, or through like people mirroring things to you, or you mirroring things to other people, that sparks a change. Like if you have someone around you and you feel like this person makes me feel less than, why do you feel that way? Okay, like it's a call for you to introspect. If you've made other people feel that way, if you've made other people feel like, hey, actually I should be better, or that you've kind of shown what's possible to people, and people have reacted negatively to that, it's actually a call for them to aspire for more, because that same thing that they want is available to them just as it's available to you. And a lot of people don't get that. They kind of see that as an invitation to then be jealous or envious, and or an invitation to kind of talk down, speak down on you, disrespect you in some way, shape, or form, because they don't know how to process what they're feeling. Because, like I said, a lot of people are operating in the ego. A lot of people are operating within this idea that, I'm superior to this person, I'm more this than that person, I'm this, I'm that. A lot of people actually aren't don't actually have a love of their essence and who they are, and they also don't want to see that in other people. They don't want other people to also love themselves, which is very, very like demonic in my opinion. So, like I'm saying, is don't take it personally. When I stop taking it personally, that's when everything changed. It's not personal, it's just part of who you are. And I remember having a discussion with my best friend last night, and we talked about this, and she had the same experience to me, or rather, a very, very similar experience to me. And like I said, you're here to make people feel, and it's not for you to internalize, it's not for you to take personal. So come back to your essence, be in touch with your essence and your own energy. Like, don't don't try to like mask, and don't try to fit into other people's perceptions of who you should be and what you should do. Come into your own energy, because that's a beautiful energy that you have. It's a very radiant energy that you have. And when you're residing within that energy, there is no need for you to doubt yourself, to compare. There's no need for you to do anything, because you just simply are. Okay. And that's not based on, it's not based on ego, it's based on truth, it's based on who you are on the inside. And that's it takes a lot of work to get there, because like I said, I was so out of touch with who I am, what I like, what I don't like. I was so out of touch with my own body. And what I mean by that is, like, I was just constantly thinking about, like, okay, how can I act so I can be more likable? How can I act so I can, you know, like, so I'm not seen, so people don't notice me. But that never worked, because even when I wasn't trying to be noticed, I was. And it's something that, like, it caused a lot of like attacks in my younger years that I didn't know how to process. Like, now I just don't care. Like, I go to university and I don't care. Like, when it happens, whether it's someone I know or someone I don't know, I don't take it personal. I just keep it pushing, I keep it moving, because that's like, my energy is not going to get wrapped up into whatever they're going through. That's none of my business, okay? And if you have someone who's gone through this, I just want you to know that there is nothing wrong with you. And you have to get rid of that feeling that you think there's something wrong with you. And sometimes something that helps is literally speaking it out. Like, speak out these negative experiences, and just kind of observe what they will have in common, and realize that, it's like, it's literally other people projecting their own fears and their own insecurities onto you, as opposed to something being wrong with who you are. Okay, so I just wanted to put that message out there. And I'm going to be offering coaching services soon, because I do feel like there is a much more deeper level of insight that can't always be shared here on YouTube for time reasons. And there are people who are going through individual struggles that I would love to work with on a one-to-one basis. So if this video resonates with you, or if you feel like this has been your experience, comment down in the comment section below how you've been navigating this, the kind of experiences that you've gone through, if you're comfortable with that. And make sure to subscribe if you've enjoyed this video. We learn a lot over here. We heal. We don't appeal to ego. We do all that deep healing inner work that isn't always cute and aesthetic, but will get you very far. And I'll see you in the next video.